All right, so the bum, he walked by, the broke bum. As soon as I opened my door, checked for mail, and like whatever that was just now. So yeah, they're running, they're on overdrive with dumb shit. So soon as the dude at the end, right? And he is walking by looking like one of them things on Fat Albert with the like the slew foot. I don't know if y'all know about that. One of them slow creatures, y'all, or whatever the fuck. But anyway, so after that, like I said, this is the Democrat operation. He's. So then I get a text, and but and so the person, they asked the way asked me a question, right? And it's supposed to be basically hard to explain. They expected me to just answer, and I'm talking about the I guess the bosses and and to them, just the way everything was when I was there. So I answered it the way it's hard to explain without fully explaining everything. But the way I just answered like when I was younger. That's the way all of us talk. When you ask a question, you just ask. But they got away because a lot of people who started doing this in the last 10 years will ask me stuff, because I have, my this and that. And they try to make it like, victimhood stuff. And it's the way the person framed it. Anyway, long story short, I'm listening to a YouTube video about where how the modern all this corruption started in the early 70s. And it's factual, right? But to prove my point of how they're, the nerds are listening or whatever, monitoring me all day, the lame ass, no pussy getting niggas, you know, the was, they're just the losers. They're losers in life who thought Bill Gates was, had saved them. Oh, the nerds are the rich guys and just cool. They're like, nah, you were never cool. I had money, but money don't make you cool. Like you say, used to go, clothes don't make the man, man make the clothes. But so then some stupid ad comes on, if you're like me, but really it was supposed to be about joining them. I don't know about y'all. I looked at so technically you could say it is because of the algorithm because I have looked into that stuff before. The surveys for money, but most of it's a scam. You click on it just like I know it's bullshit. Yeah, $10 not answer per survey, 5 minutes or $50 or $100 or whatever. But anyway, the wording, but I wasn't being forthright. You might. That's what I'm saying. That's y'all lowered the standards. This is one video I got to show y'all. Y'all think everything that we do is some kind of amazing forthright. No, y'all just lowered the standards, and we're trying to raise everybody. Well, we're not trying to. We're going to. That's the difference between us. That's why you still just running around mad and I had the bum 30 minutes ago walking past, but as soon as I open the door, time, no such thing as coincidence. Y'all don't understand. Y'all are out of y'all league. Y'all thought y'all were gonna bring everybody down. That's what y'all call equality. Like y'all, the dude who come on my channel. I wait for him to see something, but but you know, yeah. But the thing is, but that tells me another thing yet that y'all are not Christian. The ones who try to lie, because when you found out the plan was to bring me down, you would naturally know and naturally like, whoa, I can't do that. See what I'm saying? That's that right there. So every time y'all come and t-shirts, God's got me. God don't have you. And I'm not telling you this like because of me. God thinks I'm special. It did it. You know, you know that in your soul. That's why you're so mad and angry. You know, but I'm telling you what I'm saying because that's just common sense. You wouldn't. It's natural. You wouldn't like, no, man. I can't do that. And I'm not saying like you should have been so enamored of me or whatever that you wouldn't do it. It's just period. Like, nah, I wouldn't do that to nobody. Is it? That's how y'all laws. So that's why, like, when an old lady walk by, she's old. Y'all like, you hear me talking the way I talk to her. You're like, well, you should. She's an elder. You treat her like, look, she's a witch. There's nothing that says, especially a witch trying to force their religion on you. There's nothing in the Constitution or the law that says that I at least can't say anything. And technically, if we get this proven, you're trying to put a witch spell on somebody. That is an assault. You're assaulting me. Yeah, exactly. So no, it don't matter how old and decrepit you are. You know that is a fucking assault. I would say. He ain't coming back. But let me show this. But see, this was it's like they're not human. They don't understand. That's the way everybody spoke. Mm. Yeah, they all trying. Let me watch this one. How it is to make America a democracy.
those central principles that ensure a lively, open debate, then our future will be okay. There have been those who argue that people cannot handle democracy. But through all this history, the flame first lit here in Athens never died. It was fanned by America's founders, who declared that we the people shall rule, that all men.
It's not a democracy. Yeah, all men are created equal, but they didn't say they should be. Some of them should be in charge. That's the whole point of a constitutional republic. But see, he's in a different country, and but the right people was watching that fool.
Are created equal and endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights.
The ideal of a democracy is universal equality. The ideal of a constitutional republic is individual liberty. In this century, great strides have been made toward the goal of subverting our republic and transforming it into a democracy. The foremost tactic of the subverters is subversion of language. By calling America a democracy until people thoughtlessly accept and use the term, totalitarians have obscured the real meaning of American principles of government. And note the following from Gunnar Myrdal's An American Dilemma, quote, "In America, liberty often provided an opportunity for the stronger to rob the weaker. Against this, the equalitarianism in the American creed has been persistently revolting. And in the conflict between equality and liberty, equality is slowly winning. In America, conservatism has to a great extent been perverted into a cult of the Constitution. This is unfortunate since the Constitution is in many respects impractical and ill-suited for modern conditions. The worship of the Constitution is also a most flagrant violation of the American creed. The Constitutional Convention was nearly a plot against the common people," end quote. Myrdal contends that the American Declaration of Independence, 1776, proclaimed the ideal of an equalitarian democracy because it contains the phrase, "all men are created equal." 11 years later, the Constitution created not a democracy founded on the ideal of equality, but a republic founded on the ideal of liberty. This is why Myrdal says the Constitutional Convention was nearly a plot against the common people. But he and those who parrot his ideas are either ignorant or dishonest. The Constitution was ordained specifically to safeguard the principles of liberty.
Ignorant or dishonest. That's what I say. But actually, I say ignorant, stupid, or dishonest. Because ignorant don't mean you're stupid. It just means you don't know something, right? We all know that. Which you can learn. But you got some people you try to teach, that means they're stupid. Dishonest is what most of them are.
Proclaimed by the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration's phrase, "all men are created equal," means that men are equal before the law and before the Creator, regardless of their inequality in human society. The Declaration says that men are endowed with unalienable rights, and that the purpose of government is to secure these rights. The unalienable rights of man enumerated in the Declaration of Independence do not include equality, but they do include liberty, along with life and pursuit of happiness.
That's nothing, y'all. Violating or pursuit of happiness. Telling me, yeah, if you don't know how to make enough money to buy a Lamborghini or whatever, that's what you like. That's not my fault. You can't stop me because I can make that enough money. It sabotage me and have people in businesses and corporations and government sabotage me. Y'all, thankfully, y'all was stupid enough to think you had enough powerful people in powerful positions to come out and start talking openly. God has everything in hand. Y'all were just too stupid.
Equality of all men in the eyes of God and before the law is a condition essential to freedom. But no other kind of equality is possible. Government efforts to achieve material equality will produce crushing tyranny, but will not make people equal.
Thus, on liberty, which seems at first to be an argument for being non-judgmental towards individuals in general, turns out to be an argument for a one-way, non-judgmental attitude towards special individuals who are to apply social influence on others that others are to refrain from applying to them. Throughout Mill's writings over his lifetime, special intellectual elites were depicted as the salvation of society in general and of the masses in particular. Great things could be achieved, Mill said in one of his early writings, if the superior spirits would but join with each other for social betterment. He called upon the universities to send forth into society a succession of minds, not the creatures of their age, but capable of being its improvers and regenerators. According to On Liberty, democracy can rise above mediocrity only where the sovereign many have let themselves be guided, which in their best times they always have done, by the counsels and influence of a more highly gifted and instructed one or few. On Liberty is an argument for the differential treatment of an intellectual elite, cast in the language of greater freedom for all. In this and in Mill's other writings, it is these elites, the best and wisest, the thinking minds, the most cultivated intellects in the country, those who have been in advance of society in thought and feeling, that he looked to for the progress of society. What Mill called the general progress of the human mind was in reality the special progress of special minds who were to lead others. Even when they lacked the power or influence to carry out this role, the intellectual elite had the duty of keeping alive the sacred fire in a few minds when we are unable to do more, as Mill wrote to a friend. In short, the excogitated conclusions of the intellectual elite were more or less automatically assumed to be superior to the life experiences of millions as distilled into social values and customs. The role of the masses was to be taught by their betters, and the role of their betters was to be taught by the best. Mill wrote to Harriet Taylor that they must write in order to provide material from which thinkers, when there are any after us, may nourish themselves and then dilute for other people. As for the masses, Harriet Taylor wrote to Mill that, for the great mass of peoples, I think wisdom would be to make the utmost of sensation while they are young enough, and then die.
Want a free Trump mystery box?
What is this about?
What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. There's a reason why every single meme on planet Earth right now involves a cute, adorable squirrel from the state of New York and John Wick. In fact, the #1 story in the world right now is about Peanuts the squirrel. It's a story of a grotesque government overreach and evil, and it is unifying the entire country and may well affect the result of the 2024 presidential election. This may be the great determining factor that tips the scales in...
I don't know what the hell they talking about, but anyway. Oh yeah, here's another one. Let's hope this goes through. Or pray rather, join that. Oh, you know what? I was supposed to see
Looking
what he
out, we
said.
were a little bit before Anna and her son was behind us, and a cop called me over too, and he asked for a selfie. A cop in uniform, and he told his partner, "This is Sammy the Boat. Get a selfie." They both got selfies. Hey guys, I just got back from the Trump rally, and it was incredible. I know some people who were close to Trump. And we got special passes. We went in that inner circle of seats, priority seats, and we went in there, and it was nice. There was a couple of rows before us. There was seats that are taken by congressmen, senators, governors, politicians, mostly important people. And we were right in behind that, about 2 or 3 rows behind that. So I knew it was going to be a great show. We're going to hear all the speakers and everything, and we heard different speakers in there talking. It was really, really good. Somebody from NBC came over, recognized me, started talking to me a little bit. Now they want to do an interview with me. He asked about my T-shirt. I had a Trump T-shirt on with me and Trump, 2 convicted felons. I made a joke out of it a little bit.
Him for the president, me for the vice president. You're on the ticket? I want to be on the ticket.
We talked a little while. People were coming over for selfies with me. One part, when we first walked in, there was a Secret Service guy. Tall guy, good-looking guy, suit. And he called me by name. So he says, "Sammy, could you step on the side?" He says, "I'm Secret Service." I said, "Sure." And when I walked on the side, I said, "Do you want to search me?" He said, "No. I would really like to have a selfie with you." I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. But I did a selfie with him. We went in. Place was packed. I think it was a little over 22,000, 23,000 people. There was standing room in the bleachers all the way up. People, there wasn't even chairs no more. There was just people standing, droves of them. On the bottom, there was no more chairs. There was people standing up. It was crazy. People coming over to me and talking to me and asking for selfies and telling me people.
I thought he was going to say something important. Not really about maybe politics. I mean, kind
and go forward with Trump and Trump's policies, and that he would be the head of the thing against Big Pharma and all of these big corporations that are killing us. I thought that was great. And it was one after the other. Carrie Lake. I always liked her. She was a news person originally. Her and somebody got caught on tape. Neither one of them knew they were on tape. And somebody was offering her from the Democratic Party money to do certain things.
Tell them I'm not flattered. I'm offended that they...
Don't tell anybody we had this conversation.
I'm offended that they don't care about our country more.
I actually wish you'd just give me a counter offer this big. Give me a counter.
I can't be bought.
And her answer was, "This is not about money. This is about the country. This is about the people." And she flat out refused them. That's not a speech. That was something that was caught on tape. She's a good woman. I heard her speak. She was great. I don't know how she lost the election as a governor. She would have been great. I'm from Arizona, so I wish she would have made it. But now she's running as a senator from Arizona. I'm 100% behind her. Charlie Kirk, I didn't know him well. I've heard of him. I never heard him speak. I heard him speak at this rally. He blew me away. I'm a fan of his from this one meeting with him, seeing him, hearing him. I'm a fan of his. he don't know it yet, but I am. My son noticed. He said that. Look at this rally. It's jam-packed. Everybody's being so polite. No arguments, no fights, no riots, no protesting, no nothing. These conservative people are really good people.
See that right there, especially like Italians. That's what I've been talking about. New York. You know, I had been left so early. Plus, I didn't live in the neighborhoods like where they from. But you notice by time I noticed by time I was like 18, not really 14. I'll take that back. 13, 14, things were different. And it's like down south is like I said, yeah, they even Italians, they think it's racist. That no, it's not racist. That's what I'm saying. This is 2024, and these guys are just realizing what they've been missing. All that this and that. And now with us, that was us. Trying to get, and really it was us for a little bit fighting because of the Democrats. But like I said, by 91, 92, everybody realized it wasn't even trying to beat whatever was going on. It just was natural. Everybody was cool.
box delivered straight to your door? You heard that?
All right, what I said was not just Italians, but all the New York people. They really, thought, that I don't know where they get that from. But I guess because they never, like they said, they never really come down here or whatever. And but you remember that stupid phrase, sundown towns? Yeah, they came up with that shit recently. Sundown town. What the fuck is a sundown? Please take me to a sundown town. The only thing I'd be worried about, because, was take me there and leave me with a car, and then leave me. Because anywhere that's not a big city, yeah, that would be a nightmare. Getting trapped after dark because it's a small town. Not the sundown town. Nobody's open. Nothing's open. There's, I'm a city guy. I don't know about that shit. But it's not about race. It's just nobody, everybody. But as far as, a bar or something might be open, or a club. That's why I said, give me a car, and I go to the bar. Hey, what's up? I got lost, this and that. Okay. But they don't. Yeah, they can't. Yeah, what you sundown town? Where is it? What's the name of it? I'm from Alabama, so I don't know no sundown town. I never heard there were towns you can't go to unless you was riding dirty. And really, you don't ride dirty nowhere. And the only difference is in your hometown, there's people that can come get you. I guess that would be I'm thinking that would be the only difference is, in your city, Birmingham, yeah, you can call somebody. Hey, I'm on 3rd Avenue, whatever. But
he brought my attention to it, and he was right. I looked around.
That's the thing, though. It's gonna be like that, and it's not phony. That's like what J6, like the bullshit. Those wasn't real Republicans. The few young good dudes who was dumb enough, they don't deserve nothing they going through. But it's like nobody was, tearing up or burning stuff down like the BLM riots. But we know that's finna be taken care of. But and nobody's being fake nice. It's all normal. Like the rally I went to, and the dude was like, "Yo, you be careful." They was mad. I guess they really expected something to happen, I guess. Then they started following me in there. And that's what I'm saying. The thing is, y'all started this. Y'all keep trying to act like, oh, well, what do you want from us? What do you mean, bitch? You started this. It don't matter what I want, is what's going to go down. You started this, and we got rules to go by. I can't violate those rules, so it don't matter. Don't ask what I want. See, just prepare yourself. I guess brace yourself if you can't do nothing else. Hey, no, I'm not saying nothing bad about that mob guy sent me. And all them. I mean, to me, it was never nothing to really follow. Because I had moved down south by the time all that stuff was like being on the news and this and that. And either way, I guess if I was in New York, wouldn't have been a big deal to me. Where's that other one? Well, it gotta be on here then. Yeah, this is another one.
Exactly right. And on that note,
and this is, yeah, y'all idiots trying to control everything. This is a good one too. Shit, I should, this one I should save for in the morning. And do a whole one on about it.
yeah, it's great to be back here and in the studio. It's so cool to be here.
I know. You haven't been to the new studio.
Nope.
Okay, so you're here to bring us your trademark optimism, right?
Yep.
To tell us how awesome the world is and how things are going to be great.
That's why they bring me in.
Yay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear it.
Nothing could be further from the truth.
Oh, no. I always have to end our episodes with some encouragement
Yeah.
for the headlines. What's going on behind the scenes that
It's going to impact every single American. It's called the law that was passed in the European Union, which at first...
And see, that's, like I said, I'm going to say this for tomorrow, but this is a preview. And I heard about it on another channel. Somebody else, I just explain it from what I can remember. It's basically how it's going to affect American business. And also, yeah, this is about lowering the standards instead of, so European businesses can compete. Instead of raising their standards, they're going to try to lower American standards. But Trump ain't gonna have that. But it's basically like, say you make, I should have been thrown that away, but that top to a grill, and so all the parts that come with it. So the maker, even if the maker is in Europe, everybody has to comply that you deal with. So that's how they're trying to be slick. So say you buy this little piece, the vent cover, and they gotta comply with everything, even if it, you get just like you might make this here, but you get this part shipped, from China or wherever, or somewhere in the Philippines or Taiwan. So what they're trying to do, control the whole world, is everybody, everybody got to deal with it. So whatever it is, you got these emission standards, everybody got to comply, the electricity. So even if you just make this little part in Iowa and ship it, they buy it in bulk. So everybody gonna have, that's what they're trying to do. Everybody gonna have to comply. And then I don't know the exacts. I'll get to it in the morning, because I forgot about it. Somebody else already said it. It's the European, this and that. European Union. But yeah, this is a smoker. I was gonna smoke some meat, but never got around to it. I think I still got it. Yeah, I still got it. I just is upstairs. But wait a minute, let's see what this is right quick. 5 minutes ago.
That's what this is about, and I have always believed. That's what this is about, and I will tell you, I have always believed athlete. I grew up as a child of the civil rights movement. I grew up as a child of the civil rights movement. My parents would take me to marches when I was in a stroller. My parents would take me to the marches when I was in a stroller.
All right, so we're just 3 days out from the election, and we're still seeing interviews from swing voters coming out, slamming Kamala Harris, blowing up on her policies, and really ripping her for who she has been in this campaign. And so what you're going to want to do is really listen to what some of them had to say, because it's pretty...
She shops in 2 food trucks so she can provide jobs for individuals with special needs, including her sons. She says housing and other costs of living are up. Her gut says Trump is stronger this time.
I feel that Trump time putting food on their table.
On the lives of everyday Americans.
Outpace what you're getting paid in your paycheck. So let's zoom in on Arizona. Look how dark this state is. Most of the counties filled in more dark, including Maricopa County, where I am right now. More than 6 in 10 Arizonans live here in Maricopa County, and look how punishing the cost of living has been. So that is the headwind facing Vice President Harris.
So it's no surprise to hear voters that say things like that. And I just think that when her campaign continued to refuse to truly address that and take any responsibility on the border or the economy, I think she did herself more damage in delivering that message. And that's why Trump is continuing to win in that vote. But what about younger voters, right? Because they're claiming that younger voters are going to vote for Kamala Harris in large numbers. I don't see that, especially when I hear young men talking like this.
Ralph Brennan among the Michigan State students helping turn out the vote.
I think there's a red wave coming, especially in Michigan, and I think people will be very surprised on how many people vote Republican this election.
Brennan is 21, a junior economics major from Ohio, but he registered in Michigan for his first vote for president.
I was a 6th grader when Trump got elected in 2016, and I watched him, come to the White House. I watched the inauguration. I watched all the great things he did.
Trump struggled with young voters in 2016 and 2020. Brennan predicts better numbers this time, especially among young men.
Thank you, guys.
And especially after Robert F. Kennedy Jr. ended his campaign and backed Trump.
I've heard a lot of young guys say how important RFK was to their President Trump vote. Ever since Trump kind of brought RFK onto the team, onto the campaign, a lot of young men voters really like that and kind of resonate with RFK and what he's done.
Now, one of the biggest narratives in this election is that Trump is not going to get any votes from the suburban area. I find that to be false. Suburban women, to be more clear, I also found that false, because when I looked at the polling, it doesn't really show that he has a huge deficit with suburban women. And in regards to the whole gender gap, that still remains to be seen. Now, having said that, they interviewed a suburban woman in the state of Pennsylvania. Here's what she had to say.
Delaware County is reliably blue, but there are pockets where Trump runs strong.
I'm most upset about the lack of a border and the lack of our sovereignty and how that's eroded.
And then, I think, a lot of that is just, what it is. It's just smoke and mirrors.
The Disclose Act, to at least make sure people remember the break-in, but it was actually the first dark money scandal in the sense that anonymous, undisclosed.
Who's that keep going out there? Slamming shit.
Not so fast. Because what was happening at the same time was that corporate forces at this time were looking at a government that had become very small d democratically responsive. I mean, this is the era of Medicare, Medicaid, civil rights laws, the voting rights laws, EPA, Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, the war on poverty. Lewis Powell At that point, a tobacco industry lawyer, head of the American Bar Association, imagine sort of like pinnacle of the establishment, writes this memo saying corporations are effectively under attack. The government has become
Now, this video,
democratically
it explains what's going on with these hold up. You know, it explains what's going with all of them. But whoa, all right.
responsive, and it's killing free enterprise. It's killing big business. It's kind of hilarious to think about somebody writing this down, but this thing goes viral. He writes it for the Chamber of Commerce. There's a ton of organizing going on. This is as the Watergate scandal is unfolding, a sort of underground corporate organizing to fight back. They end up slipping in to that post-Watergate campaign finance reform loopholes that allow for the explosion of corporate PACs. They also launch a legal movement, a series of legal groups, for instance, the Pacific Legal Foundation is one of many, to try to mimic what Ralph Nader was doing at the time, which was bringing specific cases to the courts in order to try to elicit specific rulings. And they have a focus on campaign finance. So when those post-Watergate reforms are passed, very soon after, I'm talking about like days or weeks after, they go into court trying to strike down basically all of the campaign finance law. This is the famous Buckley v. Vallejo case, masterminded by, I'm not making this up, John Bolton. Yes, the same John Bolton.
Wow.
This was his idea. A then
It's like the Forrest Gump of evil.
Yes,
just shows up.
Right. Yeah, yes, shows up. He's always there, right? And by the way, we have a fun on the podcast where there's like a master plan cinematic universe of these people who like keep popping up. It's like John Bolton, Robert Bork. I mean, these people just keep popping up. Long story short, they secure a ruling and get the Supreme Court to enshrine what was then a radical idea that money in politics is not corruption. Money in politics is constitutionally protected free speech. This is the building block of everything that comes after. And one of the first things that comes after this, soon after this, is another court case. And now Lewis Powell, the guy who wrote that memo, has been installed on the Supreme Court. Lewis Powell, very soon after the Buckley case, works behind the scenes at the Supreme Court, and we have the documents to prove it, to take a relatively obscure Massachusetts case and use it to extend those free speech rights to corporations when they spend in elections. And that ruling, called the Bellotti ruling, becomes the basis of the Citizens United ruling. Quite literally, if you go look at the Citizens United ruling, you can search for the word Bellotti, you will see it in there, because that ruling where Lewis Powell, the author of the Powell memo, worked behind the scenes to execute in part the memo and the plan that he had.
And then, but you know one thing, another thing I point out, you see how there's a whole parking spot, like right there, and they park right there to shine their lights, right, and they don't even park the other way, They don't drive in, they park in, So like I said, well, what the hell they do? Oh, okay. But so like I said, I just want to point all that type of stuff out for future reference.
had put forward and he had outlined?
I'm currently trying to look it up. My memory is failing me, but I remember from our friend Tom Hartman. There was a law in the U.S. that I believe had fully banned corporate spending on politics at one point.
Yes.
Also,
yes,
the corporate death penalty was like a regular occurrence back in the day. The idea was that if you can't prove that your business is beneficial for the community,
Right.
the state has every right to be like, you're done.
There was a completely different conception of what a corporation should be.
And now, as you described, David, we've flipped all of that, and now all the powers with the corporations and not with the government. The government serves the corporations. And I did not know that fact about John Bolton, that he was the one who came up with that argument. I had no idea. And just so everybody remembers, John Bolton is the neocon's neocon who never met a war he didn't like. He was a leader in getting us into the Iraq war. He wants to go to war with Iran. He's the guy who said when Trump was negotiating with Kim Jong-un in North Korea, he's the guy who went to the press and said, we're looking at doing the Libya model with North Korea, which means it's a threat. We're going to overthrow these people. This guy's behind every horrible thing that's happened in this country.
Yeah, and look, he saw, I mean, talk about at that point, he thought it was a glitch in the matrix. He saw a way to do this, and he worked with a guy named Ralph Winter, who became a federal judge, and of course, Senator James Buckley. And it is interesting to think about the butterfly flapping its wings, and in the episode about Buckley v. Vallejo, in a sense, the assassination of Robert Kennedy leads right to this. Robert Kennedy is assassinated. They put in a replacement, a Republican replacement for Kennedy because the governor of New York was Republican, and the replacement became an enemy of Richard Nixon because this replacement, Charles Goodell, was opposed to the Vietnam War. And so Agnew, basically the Nixon political machine, Spiro Agnew, helped essentially boost a third party at that point, a third party candidate, a very right-wing, a conservative party candidate, James Buckley, who ends up being the name on the Buckley v. Vallejo case. And Buckley takes up the John Bolton, Ralph Winter argument, which again, I just want to tell people, like, this was a radical idea at the time, that money in politics isn't corruption, money in politics is constitutionally protected speech. Like, that is really the basis for everything. Now, I will also add that there's a second part of this master plan, which unfolds in the second half of our series, which is about the Federalist Society and their understanding that they need to implement Powell's other part of his memo, which is about taking over the courts. And that the switch from Rehnquist and O'Connor to Roberts and Alito, which happened over a very short period of time, we're talking about months here, in the mid-2000s, that was such a fundamental shift when it came to legalizing corruption. Because let's remember, the Rehnquist...
Legalize corruption. I need to check this one out for you, so I might, do this again tomorrow. Let me see what this guy talking about.
The German economy has been slowly collapsing since the war in Ukraine, but now it is collapsing quickly. Last week, the International Monetary Fund cut its forecast and said the German economy would be stagnant this year. They had been hoping for a piddly 0.2% growth. So whose fault is this? Well, the German government is blaming the German people. The finance minister said, at the moment, we are not as successful as we should be and used to be in the European Union, as if it is the fault of the people. Joining us to discuss from Europe is political analyst Ralph Scholhammer. He is the host of the...
I'm going to do this one too there, but it seems to me all this is because of these communists. Again, Germany, and they're for some reason, Germans just got to be communists that want to take over the whole world. Of not being, you can see, that's what I'm saying. Things like this, it's like the Germans know nowadays with the woke communist plan. America, we can't say anything. If we say something, hey, you notice the Germans are always the ones, now you got Klaus Schwab, George Soros, and you say it, oh, you're some, whatever, racist, bigot, whatever, da. And that's like, think about how absurd and stupid that is. This like if somebody of a different color robs you or something, or, well, okay, duh, white folks, the last 10 years. They for a while they couldn't say anything or wasn't gonna say anything, especially in New York liberals or California, LA, if they got robbed. Remember the ones who literally had to say, and I don't know if they had but they wanted to. They wanted to say, well, they would probably, I think there was some in the hospital, fucked up, and they still was talking that crazy shit. It's like, dude did not no sense into you, huh? They still, well, he probably was disadvantaged. I'm dead. I don't remember exactly, but crazy shit. Like you can't even, not even like what most of us would like to do, do something yourself. But they wouldn't even, legally get justice from the justice system. And like I said, this is just talk, YouTube and everybody else listening, government agents. We all know vigilantism and seriously, but I said like to. I literally said you would like, but that thought crimes aren't a thing. So anyway, but like I said, I would do the rest. I'm finna, I guess I don't know, fuck around with some crab legs.